Welcome to the T. Allen Haynes Radio Show. Conversations with elite business leaders from around the world. And now, here is your host, T. Allen Haynes.
We have a great guest for you today. We have Sean Kurtz, and he is a fintech solution architect and a recognized entrepreneur. He's involved in various aspects of the cryptocurrency markets, encompassing from providing trade ideas and chief advisor to direct access new issue ICOs. Sean is consistent in finding opportunities, recognizing the value-oriented blockchain companies with an emphasis on long-term vision and fundamentals. Sean is a digital and marketing specialist with a cogent presence in the cryptocurrency sector. He's accredited with founding Bitcoin Day Traders, a leading social cryptocurrency enthusiast community. Sean is also the founder of XWS, a DevOps mobile and web company, and Sean is the president and CEO of ICO Services, Inc. Welcome to the show, Sean.
Thank you for having me, Mr. Haynes. How are you today?
Oh, you can call me T. Allen. It's my pleasure, and we're excited about what you're doing and the golden nuggets you're going to provide the audience for our exclusive blockchain and cryptocurrency interview series. So let's just get right into it. Tell us about your business and the types of people that you're helping.
Sure. So I'm currently the president and CEO of a company called ICO Services, Inc. How we serve the marketplace is as follows. We help companies that are looking to raise funds for digital currency causes that have positive or optimal implications, whether it be helping others, whether it be blockchain use case, or any sort of technical use case that provides some sort of value to the marketplace. We take on as clients and take them through the steps as far as creating a respectable and standard website, creating smart contracts. We have a team of maybe like over 20, 30 people around the world in different locations that'll help market and help crowd funds for the digital currency companies, usually generally doing like an ERC-223 token off the Ethereum blockchain as an initial placeholder to raise the funds because it's relatively easy to get going, and then ultimately doing an individual standalone blockchain with which we have the capacity and the technical team for. It really just depends on the company and what their function and what their intention is, and then based off of that, then we create a plan, create a blockchain use case function, and then get rocking and rolling, raising funds. The whole process takes about maybe 2 to 3 months to get the ball rolling. The longest part's the white paper. If a company comes up with a white paper that's already made, then the raise itself could be completed in 3 months. But if not, it could take 3 to 6 months to finalize all the details. That's the most difficult part.
Excellent. So I've been around you a little bit, but what led you to this field, and how did you get involved with this?
Sure. I've always been the kind of person that just jumps into things that I find intriguing or interesting. So one of my old business partners in the moving, we had a nationwide moving company, probably one of the largest in Florida, and we did moves worldwide, and we both went our own ways, and he got into it and told me about it. He told me to Google it when I asked him about it, so I did. And next thing I knew, I was marketing for a company called Whales Club, where you could short Bitcoin. And it was a time where the market just went up to like 3,500, and then it started going down to like 1,800. So everyone was freaking out. It was one of the times everybody was selling. I was marketing shorting this Whales Club, making like a Bitcoin or two a week doing it. So it was pretty decent money in Bitcoin. So I created a Facebook group, and I was initially going to call it Whales Club. but I figured I would get no traction, so I called it Bitcoin Day Traders, parentheses, Whales Club. And it was at a time where, Bitcoin got a lot of attention, and I ended up going from like a couple hundred group members, which were my friends, to like 30,000 plus people in a few months. So then someone named Joshua Halley, who became my mentor, asked me if I would just give a shout out to his company if I liked it. It was him and a guy named Daniel Harrison. And they had a company called Monkey Capital. Coeval was the token that they were selling. And it actually got to the second largest market cap behind Bitcoin at the time. After I posted in my group, I like Monkey Capital. I think Coeval is gonna do something, and it went up like 400%.
Nice.
Because there's no place to know like what do I invest in, what's legit, what's not. So everybody goes by the Facebook groups. So I said I like this thing. I guess it kind of went viral, and a lot of people ended up purchasing this digital currency because they did so well. Because the value went up after I mentioned it. They flew me and a friend out first class to Bangkok. And we had the time of our lives in Thailand. I met Joshua Halley, and he informed me that I could create my own digital currency, in not too long of a period. He kind of guided me on how to do it. And I started my own digital currency and had my own crowd sale. And it was definitely a great experience. And now I use what I learned, what to do properly, and I also learned what not to do, more importantly. So these things, yeah. I always jump in too soon, and I end up failing, but I always learn from it. And that was one of those times here.
Well, excellent. Well, thanks for sharing that story with us. Along the way, I know you mentioned a couple of people there that influenced you in that, but was there a book that has inspired you along the way?
I would say my biggest inspiration for my success since I had a child. And when I had my first child, I was in studying to become a doctor and ended up going to pharmacy school. I wasn't making a lot of money, and my wife at the time of 6 months ended up leaving me because of it. It was like $0 to my name. I had nothing, and I totally get why she left in retrospect. But from that point, I started listening to a person named Jim Rohn, religiously every day. And I think Jim Rohn would probably have the largest influence on my success, because thereafter I ended up dropping out of pharmacy school and becoming an entrepreneur. I had a auto transport company out of college making like $2,500 a week. Thought I was doing good. And then a couple of years later, I evolved to a moving company where we were making like $5 or $10 a week. And then I got really into digital currency. I liked it. I took a leap of faith and switched out the moving company for creating my own digital currency and investing, and it ended up going quite well. I got lucky with some good calls. I was at the right place at the right time a bunch of times. I was the advisor to a few projects that, I had a pretty strong patron I advised. I had like 1% of their tokens ended up being like 400,000 when it hit the market. Moonlight.io ended up being a couple 100,000 for advising. I got really lucky with a lot of projects, and I really learned a lot. And I became financially independent, and that led me to really do more important things and make money, really start to get involved with yoga and meditation and really really digging in deep in that regard. So I'm really
excellent. So Jim Rohn, he was the influencer. He influenced you the most. That's excellent. That's probably one of the second most person of influence that's mentioned on the radio show. So that's pretty cool.
Really?
Oh yeah.
And who's the first? Some holy figure, I imagine.
Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich.
Oh yeah, I love that book. It was between that book and Jim Rohn, and I had to give it to Jim Rohn. Think and Grow Rich does a good job, sure. I think it's difficult for a lot of people to understand Think and Grow Rich without reading The Secret at the same time.
Right.
But I'm totally all about manifestation. I really am. I believe we all create the universe we live in from our mind consciously, and then it goes outward. So you see some people that are always negative or have always been negative their whole lives and end up in negative situations. And Jim Rohn would say, well, all I got is, the best I can say is people like that always end up, with problems like that or in situations like that. But what I did from Jim Rohn is I do like to go a step more and figure out why. And I believe it's has a strong component is how we think, and our thoughts are manifestations. So our real world is just like created from our consciousness and our thoughts. So it's really important who we allow into our thoughts and who we allow into our networks. So as of lately, I've been very protective over that.
Absolutely. So that leads us to the next question. I know, I got to see your passion at the Crypto Business Forum in New York that we had back in March. So what is the passion that drives you, that gets you up in the morning to do what you do?
I don't know. I think we all have this inner passion. I imagine we all shine in different ways. I mean, my inspirations are truly like my kids, my family, and inspiration. I think once you realize that we're all kind of connected through an initial energy source that maybe we all came from, and now all of our beings are just like, a fragmented piece of that, but initially all connected. You have a responsibility now, not just to yourself, but to the entire universe, to produce some kind of results with this energy source that you've been given. I think it's kind of selfish not to have some sort of passion. So I think everyone should be passionate.
Excellent. So once a company decides that they want to take the route of blockchain or creating their own token, what are you finding to be the most common obstacle preventing them from achieving that?
Most of the time, the people get in their own way because they don't understand. They don't understand blockchain. They don't understand the digital currency space. A lot of times it's, older guys who've been in the stock market or in these penny stocks, or it's generally like, these older gentlemen that are stuck in their ways, and they don't want to completely take that leap of faith, and they don't understand completely. And I'm too working on communicating better. It's really a lot of times, people kind of get in the way of themselves, and it's like, this is what's going on. This is how it works. Just relax a little bit. We got this. But it's really not too difficult of a process. I've been blessed with a really strong team, really good assistants, really good marketers. Clients are happy. I've been fortunate. I mean, we all have ups and downs, light and darkness. And we certainly wouldn't appreciate our light times without moments of darkness. And I've certainly had my share. I've certainly been misunderstood, as a lot of people have. You either win or you learn. And we've certainly learned a lot. We've won a lot. We're to continue either learning or winning.
One of the biggest obstacles is being in their own way. What are you finding? I mean, there's a lot of this in the media and a lot of, negative talk, but what are you finding to be the biggest misconception that out there in the crypto and blockchain space?
As relates to what, maybe?
Well, I mean, when people approach you to take on a task or take on what you do for them, what's the biggest biggest misconception that they might have?
I understand your question now. Okay, so the biggest misconception I have is the time it takes to execute. People think, it's as easy as opening a website, a smart contract, and then launching, a poorly designed product. But it takes much more than that if you're going to do it properly and actually successfully raise 7 figures. You have to have the right people in place, enough articles out there in different languages. The white paper has to be proper. It has to make sense. It has to be appealing to the digital currency community, the website just as much. You can't just, you have so many people that I meet at conferences that, especially in America, because I've been around the world at different digital currency conferences, and I'm sure, you can attest as well. In America, you go to these conferences and say, raise your hand if you're having an ICO, and 9 out of 10 people will raise their hand. You go to Japan, it's like the opposite. 1 out of 50 people will raise their hand and say they're doing it. But the point being, a lot of these people in America, they have ICOs, but they're not raising any money. I go to conference, I got an ICO, how much money have you raised? None. Well, what's your business plan? Someone once told me, I asked them, they said they got an active ICO. I said, what's your business model? They said, we haven't figured it out yet. After we raise the funds, we're going to kind of define what our business. I just looked at the person I was with. Is this guy serious? They're dead serious from Estonia.
I could imagine the look you gave him. I could see it.
But you have it so many times. If you listen to these people, the majority of them don't know what they're talking about at all. All they know is they got an ICO, and they're raising funds if you want to invest in that. They can't tell you what their token does. They can't tell you their business model. They got no revenue. They haven't even incorporated yet, but they want you to invest. And they don't have white paper. It's just ridiculous. And then they don't understand why. You got to put a strong project together with a real team. You got to communicate on a daily basis of what needs to be executed next. There's so many components involved in it, and the average person doesn't understand that hasn't done it before. They think, oh, well, I'm just going to do this because it's going to be a quick way to raise $40 million, but it's not. Even when I was doing my digital currency raise and I raised $1 million, I was up 20 hours a day. As soon as midnight comes, 9, 10 o'clock at least, China's waking up, Japan's waking up, Russia's waking up, and these people are waking up, and then you're up till 4 or 5 talking to people in Korea, all over Asia. If you don't go to sleep by 4 or 5 o'clock, Americans start waking up again. You might not get to sleep that day, and this goes on for 6 months. Back when I did my ICO, we didn't even have our smart contracts set up yet. We were doing the pre-ICO. We raised the funds via email and IOUs.
Nice.
So I've been through a lot in this space. I definitely go ahead. So
describe for us. You don't have to mention any names, but how you've taken someone and helped them in this space, what you've done for them. Can you share a case study with us?
Yeah, sure. I had a company that, really didn't know the difference between a security token, a utility token. They didn't know who was going to develop it. And I really, flew out to their country, and, it happened to be Tokyo, Japan. I flew out to meet them, discuss with them, had a bunch of conference calls, gave them a bunch of advisors, put a bunch of advisors on their team for them to help assist them, worked on a strong website, worked on a strong white paper. Token economics is important, and they ended up raising $40 million. And now ended up raising $40 million, and now they're listed on a couple big exchanges, doing a lot of big things. Another company we raised $10 million for a mining company. that had a digital currency raised. So, we've raised 7-8 figures for a few companies that, had no idea what digital currency was. And then through the process, they become, experts. And now they're speaking, they go from not knowing what Ethereum is to 3 to 6 months later, they're traveling the world themselves, speaking at conferences. And that's such a relatively new industry that you could become a CEO expert in 3 to 6 months if you raise enough money. The guy's an expert. He had no clue what Ethereum or Bitcoin was 6 months ago because he raised money. He's a tech wizard. He's going to speak at conferences.
Excellent. So, you have any current projects that you're working on or that's emerging?
Yeah, I have some super strong projects I like. ImageProtect.io is a strong one I'm working on that I like. CarbonChain.com is a strong company with the United Nations out of South Africa. Met them in Rio de Janeiro. They flew me out first. I didn't think they were serious. Like, we're with the United Nations, with the auditors for carbon credit. I said, all right, you're serious. Fly me first class to Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. Sure. And I thought I'd never hear from them again. Sure enough, the next morning I had an email, first class flight to Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. I had a blast in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. After we raised our first million, we're going back.
Nice.
But yeah, and that project's about to launch. Super strong team. I think they're going to raise the $20 million they're looking for. GenesisToken.net's got a strong development company in the Caribbean that I'm working on. I think they're going to be a strong project. Potentially doing a company called Blocklaw with some lawyers from Miami that graduated from NYU Law School. A lot of exciting. Doing a securities digital exchange out of Hong Kong. We're raising $150 million. That project should be insane. Not a lot of people know about it, but we have one of the best developers develop the platform. It's already developed. It's better than Binance. The thing is going to be insane. We already have commitment for the $150 million sold out.
Nice. So it's pretty exciting time. So if one of the listeners, if they're thinking about doing something like this, what would be the first thing they should do?
The first thing they should do is email me or call me. Or call you and email you, and we could all talk together and figure it out. Because you got a lot going on too in the space, T. Allen. You're being humble, but you got a lot of conferences going on and a lot of stuff in the space. I'm super happy for you, and I want to hear more about what you got going on.
Absolutely. So, how can they contact you, or how can they reach out for more if they want to contact you?
Sure. You can reach me at info at icoservicesinc.com, or you can call me. And I'll give out my phone number, and I'll tell you why. Mm-hmm. Okay. I've been hacked before. When I first got going, I invested maybe like $5-10 grand, and I turned it into $100 grand in like a month. This was when digital currency was booming, and I had my group, and I'm announcing coins, and they're going up 400%, 500%, 1,000% because nobody knows what to get involved with. And I turned like $5-10 grand into $100 grand, and I gave out my number, and I ended up having my phone duplicated, and my exchange is hacked, and my exchange wallet's cleaned out. It took me for $100 grand. I was really upset. But now I store all my digital currency on Trezor wallets. Mm-hmm. So I have no issue giving out. My phone number is 561-660-0905. Add me on Facebook. And you don't have to come to me, and say, be concerned if you don't have enough money to afford it. I'm very reasonable. I'll work with people that seem hungry. They got a good idea. They're passionate. As long as it makes sense. And well, I could definitely help people out. If they have a good idea, a good use case, they're going to help society in some way, or they're going to provide additional value to the emerging technical blockchain market, then you'll certainly help out. Call me like, hey, I'm raising $100 million for no reason. That I'm not interested in.
Excellent. Well, thank you again for being on the show for our special segment on blockchain and cryptocurrency, and congratulations on your presentation at the NASDAQ in March. So we look forward to additional events and other good things coming out of your camp. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Tracy. T. Allen, I really appreciate you so much. I think you're just an amazing person, and you got such amazing things going on yourself. And I'm super excited to see where your journey takes you. And I'm glad to be a little part of it.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Sean. We appreciate it. Well, there you have it for this edition of the show. We'll see you the next time.
Thanks for listening to the T. Allen Haynes Radio Show with T. Allen Haynes. Conversations with elite business leaders from around the world. We will see you next time on the T. Allen Haynes Radio Show.